Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Camnet TV viewers, remember you were born for greatness. I am so delighted to be in the studio tonight on the ministry, and I'm so grateful for my guests tonight. One of the gentlemen will join us in the next few minutes, but I am privileged in the studio to be with a man who needs no introduction in Zambia, but just in case you were born yesterday and knowing that you take GMO foods, you've grown so fast, you may not know the person, you get to know him. And it's very difficult for me to introduce him because of the many titles that he carries behind him and the career that has followed him from the time he was a youth. Please help me to welcome Mr. Samuel Matete, a world champion, and other things you explain. Mr. Matete, welcome to Camnet TV.
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers.
Mr. Matete, I must say that over the years you have achieved so much that it's difficult to describe, but I would want you to run the Camnet TV viewers. Who is Mr. Samuel Matete? What have you achieved? And please bring us up to speed, because tonight I want you and the gentleman coming to answer why the standards of athletics in Zambia have gone so low. And in your time, soccer, athletics were going neck to neck. But you have remained 100 meters behind the soccer.
That's right.
But before we get to that, who is Mr. Matete?
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah? And I'm quite humbled to be here, Pastor Chuluba. And I think I saw the clip when you hosted my dear friend Jonathan Chipalo. A great man indeed. And to be here, I'm quite humbled.
I'm blessed.
Thank you. Well, I'll try to cut my story short. Samuel Matete was born in Chingola, in Changa North Hospital. I grew up in Kasompe. I attended Kasompe Primary School. At the time, we used to do a lot of walking. Getting on the bus was very rare. We were just walking. I would walk from Mbula going to Kasompe. When I reached grade 7, I failed. Now I had two of my best friends. One of them, Feliciano Banda, was a very smart man. And the other one, may so rest in peace if he has passed on, Isaac Kabinda. These guys were very, very brilliant in school. And I'd be friends with them. So when I failed, they had to change the direction. They had to go to Chingola Secondary School and Chikola Secondary School. I couldn't do that. So I didn't want to repeat at Kasompe Primary School. So I talked to my dad. My dad said, no, I know a school in Chiwempala. You can repeat there so that you can go this direction. And that humbled me because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be around my friends. So I repeated at Malemba Primary School in Chiwempala. Now, going to school was quite a challenge because I used to get on a bus. Then if my mom and dad doesn't have money, I'll ride a bicycle. And then if there's no bicycle breaks down, I'll walk. Now, we're talking about, for many people who know Chingola, Kasompe and Chiwempala is the other side and the other side.
The distance.
It's quite a distance. I never had any problems walking or running. If they give me sometimes if they give me transport money, I'll pass through town and buy some bread, and that's my fuel. So it was just a normal thing walking.
Yeah.
But again, I failed in grade 7. So one day I was at home, and then my mother's young brother came home. So when he came home, my mom just said, hey, so my uncle looked at me. It's like, yeah, okay, that's a good idea. And let me think about it. And before it was over, I now shifted from Chingola. That was the first time I left now Chingola now to go relocate to Kitwe. When we arrived, of course, now that was a new ground for me. And my uncle was an educationalist, so he didn't want to see nothing besides just books and going to school. So I repeated for the third time at Buntunga Primary School. I was staying at Tubukishe, and I used to walk, pass through St. Anton and then go to Buntunga Primary School. As things turned out, I started to work very hard. I discovered a new idea of studying because my uncle was very strict. Now, Pastor, put in mind that when I was in Chungola, I didn't do no running. Played a lot of football. In fact, in Changa Rangers, most of my brothers, were playing. I know Rodwe Mwenyamatete, Bani Matete, they all played for Changa Rangers. So that's it used to be a very big name around there. Yeah, so anyway, I repeated at Buntungwa, and fortunately I passed to go to Mukwa Secondary School. So when I went to Mukwa Secondary School, that's when now the running started, because it was mandatory and basically compulsory. Everybody must run. And we had this great sportsmaster, Mr. Shabangana. He was a really, really great man. He was very strict, and that's how I started running. We started with cross country. Cross country was not so good, but I just wanted to. I was just running. Then from there we went into track and field. So when I did track and field, that's when I realized, and people saw that I can jump, I can run and jump. So from there, of course, talent was identified by the sportsmaster, and from there, of course, we represented the school at inter-schools. By then we only had 6 secondary schools in Kitwe. So I really excelled very, very well, mostly in the sprints and the jumps. As things went on, of course, I finished my grade 12, and that's when I was running at school. One of a friend at Mukowa said, "Yeah, you are running very fast. Let me introduce you to my club at Tinkana Stadium." Of course, I was young and I didn't know. I just felt nice. I started to enjoy running. So he took me one day. He said, "When we knock off, we go together to Tinkana Stadium." So when I knocked off, he took me there. He was waiting for me, and we went there. So when I arrived at Tinkana Stadium, I found there was a man called Charles Rupia. He was he represented Zambia at the 1976 Olympic Games and the Moscow 1980 Olympic Games. So he was an Olympian. So when I didn't have an idea, but when I was at Mukuba, I also enjoyed basketball. So when I arrived there, the coach said, somebody told me, so go and join Charles, then he can run with you. So I joined the group where Mr. Rupia was running. So as he was running, he said, "Guys, I'm going to sprint, and if you catch me, and then that's when I'll stop. So each time I increase, you must be near." So he kept on doing that. Now each time he increases, I was there. Each time he was there. So after we finished, he looked at me and said, "Hey, where are you from?" And I was scared. I said, "No, I'm from Kitwe. I go to Mukwa Secondary School." "Where do you stay?" "Yeah, I stay in Tubukishe." "Okay, tomorrow you must come." So the next day, I didn't go there. I went to play basketball. And I didn't even go back. No. Even after
that you forgot.
No,
or you were just tensed up.
Actually, it's not even about forgetting. I enjoyed basketball. Yeah?
Oh, I
so
see.
Now I met an Olympian. I don't know what he saw in me. So for me, I didn't know what he saw in me. So I went to play basketball. Now, the funny story of Pastor was that my uncle had a daughter who used to go to Kitwe Primary School. So most of the time I would walk with her when she was young. I walk with her and then meet another girl who happened to be the daughter to Mr. Rupia. But I didn't know. So we just go and, once they meet, then they go to school. So one day, Mr. Rupia was talking to his wife. He said, "Agnes, I met this boy, very energetic, but he doesn't come here. So where can I find him?" Not knowing that the other daughter was listening. Then she said, "No, Dad, I know that man. And that's how he came where I stay, and I came out. And then from there, he started talking to me. I said, "Now, from here, you should start coming to Stella." So I was scared, and out of that, I started going back to track. just as they say, from there, of course, the rest is history. But when he trained me, then I qualified, and I represented Zambia on several occasions. But what was so fun about, because I took up a hurdle race, which was very, very tough. So when I represented Zambia at the All Africa Games in 1986, I believe, 1986, yes. That's when there was an American coach who came to watch, and I saw how I was looking and running, and I said, hey, I'll get you a scholarship to America. You're very, very talented. And that's how I got a scholarship. And I left for America in 1989. But my uncle was very surprised because he never expected that I could go to America just through sport.
The same uncle was full of books.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. It could have made sense if I said I'm going for a scholarship for football, but for athletics, he had a hard time to understand that. But the reality came when I was actually now flying, and my coach, escorted me, and eventually I left for America. And my coach even told me, actually cautioned me, now you're going to America, you're going to find a lot of facilities. And remember, America is not like everything. It's what you're going to make out of that. And you're going to find all the facilities, everything is there. And he blessed me. And I left for America. And when I arrived, everything that I dreamed of was there. The education was there. I went now to Blaine College. Education was there. The track facilities were superb. And that was just at the college. The track facilities were just amazing.
Then where you were coming from?
Yes,
Nkana?
Yes, Nkana, of course. At the time, we didn't have the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium that we have today. We didn't have the Hero Stadium we have today. Yeah. So there, almost everything, the competitions. I remember for the first time, we went for a competition where we were running indoor. Indoor is the half size of the outdoor track, and it's enclosed. It took me a while to understand that you can run that fast on that. And I remember when I was given a button, I had to slide down out of fear, and the button went out of my hand, but I quickly picked it up. So from there, of course, I started to do well. I was now in very good hands. The coach was experienced, and of course, I started to do very well. And then from there, of course, one day my coach told me, Samuel, you've been running very well, and I'm very sure you can win the World Championships. And that was now talking about 1991. Yeah, but prior to that, I went to the Commonwealth Games in New Zealand, and I was number 5 in the final. And then from there, I actually established myself in Europe because I was running a lot in Europe. And then from there, that's when my coach said, I think you can win the World Championship. And I told my coach, I said, Coach, I just want to be the best that I can. Now that I'm privileged to have all these facilities. And that's how I had, I eventually went to the World Championship, and I won the first ever gold medal in athletics. Of course, that was now like the stepping. So now I was able to realize that, this is achievable. I think I can do more. Then I went on to be almost number 1 in the world. In fact, that year I was number 1 in the world in the 400-meter hurdles. I went to the Commonwealth Games. I got a gold medal in 1994.
You went where?
The Commonwealth Games.
Commonwealth.
In 1994, I got a gold medal. Then I went to the Africa Championships in 1993, if I'm not mistaken. I got a gold medal. Then I went to another 2 of the similar World Championships and I managed to get a silver medal and a silver medal. Then I went to the Africa Cup of Nations, and the list just went on and on. So I was, in particular the 90s, I was just one of the best athletes in the world. Yeah, and of course from there, when I retired in 2001, I stayed in America for about a year. Then one day I woke up and I said, I think my America doesn't need me. What I've achieved and what I can do, I think I need to go back home. I just woke up and I got on the flight and came home.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it was a bit rough, but I said, no, I know I have something that I can give to Zambia at an appropriate time. Of course, at that time, I didn't want to associate myself with the athletics in Zambia because, what I've been through and what I was seeing, it was just not what I think.
They are two different worlds.
Different things, yes.
It's like night and day.
That's right. You know, so I just thought, no, this is not the way athletics should be. You know? And you know, I've always respected the schools because the schools have a very good program, and that's where I came from. And now to see that you know, schools are doing their thing there, and the athletics house also do their thing there, I didn't feel comfortable. I said, no, I think for now, let me stay away. And then, just to cut the story short, of course, now I'm married. You know, I have my wife at home, Amy, and we have 4 kids, 3 boys and 1 girl.
Is one of them taking up after you?
One of the boys look like. One of the boys. He
looks like he'll be the next world champion.
He can be the way, yes.
Yeah. How old is he?
He's 13. He's been doing very well at primary level. You know, yeah, he's one of the best. So I don't push him. You know, what I do, I think I just lay the platform. Yeah, come on, have fun. The most important thing is for them to enjoy and have fun. And then if you start to enjoy more and you want to more, it's up to him. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And then, of course, as time went on, you know, I decided that no, I should form my own academy so I can help. Because and one thing that touched me is that the athletes, when they see me, they used to think that it's really impossible. Maybe I was special. Maybe I was born different for me to achieve what I achieved. So I wanted to go out there and start this academy and show them that no, you don't have to be special. You can come from anywhere. You know, all you need to just have a heart and the will to do it. And that's how I ended up forming the academy. Yes. And from there, of course, we have much more to achieve.
Mr. Matete, there is the one time, I think you were going to Japan. Either Japan or one of these countries. You were going for some Olympics, and you were being interviewed on ZNBC.
That's right.
By Doreen Mokanzo, I think. Yes, you remember that interview?
I remember Doreen Mokanzo, yes.
She gave you an interview.
Yes, I know.
And at the end of the interview, she asked you a question to say, Mr. Matete, where you are going, what are your expectations? Do you hope to win? Do you hope to compete favorably? Or what? I liked the answer. It has never left me, you know, because I was watching that interview.
Wow.
And you said the champions don't compete. They only go to win.
That's right.
You remember that?
I do. It's quite a long time past that.
Yes.
So what I do.
Champions don't compete.
That's right.
They just go to win.
Yes.
And for sure, you won the 400
meter hurdles, yes.
Yeah, 400. You scooped your gold medal.
That's right.
I was very impressed.
Thank you.
Now, with all the what you have achieved, sorry to say this, you see, Pastor Chiluba is as straight as Cairo Road, you know.
Definitely.
I've got no shadows in my questions and what, because I don't have Nkongole na muntu. The Chipata people, they say Nkongole ni katundu ya manyazi.
That's right.
I don't have that, but with all that you have achieved, why is Zambia at the tail end in athletics? Why? We have people like you. I know that Zambia, for sure, it's a dream killer nation. Yes. I know that.
Yes.
Number 2, we do not celebrate or appreciate our own. People are doing things. We never appreciate them. We are good at appreciating other people and other institutions that are run by foreigners. But once a Zambian comes up with something,
that's right,
we are never appreciated. So I've taken note that Zambia is a dream-killing country, and we do not appreciate people like you, people who've got the academics, professionals. We don't. But that aside, that is just my own conclusion. Why is the athletics in Zambia at the level it is?
First of all, it's quite a long story to describe each and every part. But one thing I can tell you, Pastor Chilwa, is the fact that it will be extremely difficult for Zambia to win a medal, say, at the Olympic Games, at the World Championships. The Commonwealth may, but it's not just going to come like easy as that. Basically, at the level where we are, it's extremely difficult in the sense that, Pastor, just look at, let's say, do we have under 12 kids running in Zambia? Do we have under 16 kids running in Zambia? Do we have under 18, specifically to where we're talking about grassroots level development? Look at the schools. The schools are doing their part. And in fact, if it has not been COVID-19, the schools, we've always had inter-schools, inter-house, inter-districts, inter-provincial. What happens to that talent? In my private schools, we have the Independent Schools Association of Zambia, the ISAS. We have our own athletics calendar. What comes out of it is like the schools do their own thing, the private schools also do their own thing, athletics also do their own thing. How can we develop athletics in the country? That's practically impossible. So that's why you find that most of, at the end of the day, nothing can be achieved, because talent, there's abundant, and I like when you talk about how much talent there is in Zambia, but it's a fact. If you look at how many minerals we are discovering in Zambia, somebody must do the needful in order to discover the minerals. We are not doing that. Talent for us, talent just come and go. Talent just come and go. We are not capturing. We are not grooming the grassroots. We are not doing, simply, it's just this one doing their own thing, they are doing their own thing. There was one time I suggested, I said, can we have the National Schools Athletics Championships? This they do even in Jamaica, they do in America, they do everywhere. The National Schools Athletics Championships, it will give credit to, let's see, the best sprinter in 100 meters from the schools around Zambia.
So, when you made that suggestion, who did you suggest to? Was it a PS? Was it a minister? Who did you suggest that to?
You know, it's difficult to lay. I remember the time I spoke to Reverend Nyirongo. At the time, she was the
sports minister.
Sports minister, yes. Yeah. And I suggested something about athletics. Of course, the answer I got was, I'm in the office. I want the results now. Tomorrow I may not be in the office. So that was very difficult to answer back. Because in athletics we invest. You have to invest so that you can see the fruits at a later stage. Because the kids must grow in sport, physically and mentally. So that was difficult because I want the results now. Of course, if I can't see the results, then there's no way we can talk. So that was very discouraging. I thought, I don't know, anyway, I know athletics, you can't get the result right away. No, we need a time frame.
After that question by the Honorable Minister, did you make other efforts to approach other ministers? Because Honorable Gladys Nyirongo, she served in the MMD. There was PF, 10 years, and now there is a new dawn.
Yes.
Did you suggest to PF ministers?
In fact, in the PF, yes, I did. But of course, the atmosphere was a bit different because it was not so much sport-oriented and one particular athletics. Yeah. Pastor, the fact is, I've always tried to give the best I can to advise in the way athletics can go. But that has not been fruitful. And that's why if you, there was even a time I even wanted to do a Samuel Marede Athletics Foundation. And I tried, but there was no support. So there was quite a lot of things. I'm a very sports person, a sports-oriented person, and I've always wanted this. One day I want to do this, or one day it's going to happen. And that's how eventually I left for Mauritius for I think about 2-3 years. Then I came back, and that's how I said, no, let me now just go physically, be involved now in athletics, and that's why now I'm grooming some young athletes.
Something has happened in this nation, Mr. Matete. My wife and I are very passionate about this country. This country is a great nation, and I'm proud to be a Zambian. I'm very grateful to God that I was not born an American or Japanese. I was born a Zambian. And I normally say to the church members that when Muslims are praying, they face Mecca. When Christians are praying, they face America. But we need people that shall face God.
Definitely, definitely.
No Mecca, no America, but to face God.
Amen.
And Moses, when he encountered God, running away from the king, Moses was asked, Moses, what's that in your hand? He said, it's a rod. I'm sure he spoke Nyanja ni dodo.
That's right.
But God says, put it down. We know the story, how it turned into a vicious snake. From that lesson, Mr. Matete, we know for sure that we despise what we have. We despise people like you. You lived in America, you've traveled the whole Europe, what? People like you, you would be celebrated if you were in America. Probably one item, like Michael Jordan, who should have boots, Samuel Matete boots, for runners. But Zambia doesn't even think about that. So something has happened that my wife and I, being proper Zambians, when I say proper Zambians, both our parents coming from here, we just said, no ways, we are going to take in this. We have formed Camnet Sports Academy. Sports, all inclusive.
All inclusive, yes.
But we have begun with soccer.
Definitely.
And also, we want to partner with people like you in athletics.
That's right.
So that we can push it to the whole world. We want to look at basketball, tennis, swimming. I do not understand why God helped my wife and I to pioneer Camnet TV. But this is a voice and a platform where you are supposed to come.
Right.
If you are having a tournament there in Kitwe, you just say, Pastor, I have a tournament. I'll be so glad for our news team to pick what you are doing. Because people underestimate this.
That's right.
Being in Ethiopia with my wife several times, that runner who was there, what was his name? Haile
Selassie.
Selassie. You see the hotels he has. You see this just from running.
From running, yes.
Why is Zambia where it is? Surely it's unacceptable.
No, of course.
If Samuel Matete retires, is there no other Matete? Is there no other name coming up?
Yes, we need to see more.
So, that said, Mr. Matete, this is your home.
Sure.
A phone call away will cover whatever you'll be doing.
Thank you.
Let somebody know that through running, they can become millionaires.
Definitely.
Through this and that, they can succeed and put Zambia on the world map.
Yes.
And if you look at Usain Bolt, we all know Usain Bolt, especially the boys and girls who are now in the 80s, who were born in the 80s. They know who Usain Bolt is. But he's Jamaican.
Jamaican, yes.
What about our own Matete?
That's right.
And this is where I get a lot of pain in my heart. What shall we do to restore the image, Mr. Matete? I don't want to bring your athletic association lest I'm sued. I don't want to talk about, I don't like talking about organizations, individuals and offices because these are individual sports.
Of course, yes.
What shall we do to bring the image of athletics to Zambia back to where it was in your days?
And you know, Pastor, if you look at what's happening here, for example, in Jamaica, and just want to give a quick example. Usain Bolt did not go to America to go to school there and become great, no. Trained in Jamaica, live in Jamaica.
He trained in Jamaica?
He trains in Jamaica and lives in Jamaica.
Really?
He's never... I had to go to America to become the best athlete in the world. Jamaicans, Asafa Powell, Usain Bolt, and the current champion, they never went to school in America. They train in Jamaica, and from Jamaica they go to Europe and travel around the world for competition. They never went to school there. They went to school right there in Jamaica. If they go to America, they're just going there for competition.
Even the Kenyans?
Most, in fact, I would say 90% of the Kenyans, they train in Kenya, live in Kenya, and then they represent the country. Yes. What have we done? For us, we have not even laid a foundation for where we can train athletes and make the athletes, grow the athletes right here. We don't even have the capacity. But the sad fact is that in fact, let me say the good part is that today we have Lev Mwanawasa Stadium and we have Hero Stadium.
Which one?
The Mwanawasa Stadium and Hero Stadium.
Heroes, yes.
Those have synthetic tracks, which we never used to have back then. So if the people have the vision, they should bring in, we should train the coaches. We should also basically build capacity through coaching and even administration. If we can have good coaches, they now have links, work together with the schools, because you cannot be a great athlete without being part of the schools, because the schools, that's where all of us, I came from the schools. What are we doing about the schools? Literally nothing. So there's no link. That's why, if you remember, I said earlier, I was saying you find the private schools, they have their own program. The schools, they have their own program. If they so feel or wish, they can go to athletics, but most of them, they will go there, but at the end of the day, they stop because they feel there is nothing there that is there. Yes. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done if we are going to see a huge and successful athletic program in this country. Not what we are looking at the moment, no. If you go to a pastor, for example, even just having a competition, it's like when the JCCM closed and left, they left with all the ideas.
Oh, really?
We struggle to have to put up a competition on a Kobe. Today we struggle. It's not even possible.
May I ask this? When you started running, before you were spotted by the coach in America, and did you have the money to run?
Nothing.
Does it take money for somebody to become a runner?
No, not at all. Not at all.
And this is why I'm saying, Mr. Matete, I appreciate what you are saying, that we need coaches, we need administrators. When Mr. Sample comes to join us tonight, he's one of the best coaches. He's got his own experience and everything. My wonder is, who is there to identify the boys and girls in school? Who is there?
That's right.
Because, like I said, Mr. Matete, my wife and I said, let's start all sports, whatever we can offer. If we can find one orphan, one less privileged child who has nothing, but they are willing and determined.
Yes.
Let's go without a meal to realize the dream of that child. Because one day, you never know.
Sure.
That said, we have formed soccer academy,
Yes, yes, yes.
and the boys are doing so well.
Yes.
I have told them, keep telling them with the coaches, you boys, if I hear that you have gone to play soccer in South Africa, this academy will have failed. We are producing you for Europe.
For Europe, yes.
We are producing and preparing you for Europe.
Yes.
I have traveled extensively. I have the connections.
Yes.
Why should I go to the grave because of being stingy? Because I don't have a relative who plays soccer?
Yes, right.
No. I want to use all my connection, my blessings, whatever, to impact someone's life. So, again, Mr. Matete, we don't need money. We may not be so organized.
Yes.
What shall we do to restore Zambia's image in athletics?
Yes.
If you tell me, because really we want to partner with you, and the best partnership that I've said is that Camnet TV is your station.
Definitely.
Let's push the news. Let's recruit the people. Let's do what we can using this platform. One day, the Lord will bless us.
For sure. Pastor, you know, it will be very difficult at the current state or the current state of athletics that we are in. It will be very difficult to develop athletes that we want to see that can compete at the world stage. Because that's like it goes back to coaches. How many coaches in this country do we have that can develop an athlete, that the athlete that can compete at a level we want them to compete? The answer is no, we don't have. That you can even see where we're coming from.
But
to date.
Are you not a coach?
I'm just one of the, in fact, that's why I've embarked on this academy, because now I want to develop the athlete that can compete at world level.
This is what I'm saying. There in Kitwe, every person on the copper belt,
Yes.
they should come and join your academy.
That's right.
This is what we are saying. Join Chipalo, Jonathan Chipalo's academy. Join Camnet Academy in athletics.
Athletics, yes.
If there is somebody in Mongo, join that academy. Somebody in Livingstone, where join those academies. Individual.
Individuals.
The Bible says where there is no vision, people perish. And the Bible is very clear.
That's right.
It doesn't, so the Bible doesn't say where there is no organization or where there is no union, people perish. Where there is no vision, and vision can be an individual. One man can rise up and say, I have a dream.
Individual, yes.
You may kill that person, but there is an Obama coming to fulfill the dream that somebody had. So, I know that it's difficult. You are saying that there are no coaches. Where do we start from? Because for me, Mr. Mastete, I have no doubt in my mind. The answer, no, we can't do this, does not exist in my DNA. I am very positive about things. Because you are there, as Mr. Matete, I have confidence. If it means Zambia shifting to Kitwe, you produce 10, 15 people, we'll be so grateful. So, how do we start from here? Forget about, like I said, your organizations, the bodies you belong to. How do we tap the talent?
First of all, we have two things that are going to bring talent to the table. First of all, we have to go into the community.
In the community.
In the community, yes. Secondly, the schools. In fact, the schools will be the best because they already have a program. So, It's now up to us, people like me and many other coaches who can be what we call the talent scout. These are now purely talent scout. They can go to anywhere there is competition, particularly the schools. They have to be there to look for talent. And those that they see doing well, then they capture them, bring them into various clubs. That's why we have clubs. We can have clubs so that they are now being looked after by the coaches. Those coaches also should be trained, well trained.
So when you say bring them into clubs, again, I don't want you to be general, because some clubs are clubs by name.
That's right, that's right.
There is no seriousness, there is no discipline, there is no vision. When you say bring them into clubs, what are you implying? Why don't you just get to the point to say, bring them to my academy?
Yeah, well, that's in fact, you know, Pastor Chilba, the best, the problem is that we don't have athletics academies around the country. The one I have is just one unique, which is growing on the Goa Belt. Like I have athletes from Mondola and Luanshawa coming to the academy. Okay, so if we can have those academies, around, say, in the area, then now build capacity amongst the coaches, because we need to teach the coaches how to train these athletes that we are identifying, bring them to those academies, and then start to coach them.
I want to ask you, Mr. Matete, you are in Kitwe.
Yes.
Which part of Kitwe? Where is your academy? Those Camnet TV viewers who are watching us, and they've got children who can run, they've got children who are able to aspire to World Championship, where are you found?
The academy is at Kitwe Playing Fields. It's in
Kitwe?
Kitwe Playing Fields. That's why we call it KPF.
To a person like me who doesn't know Kitwe Playing Field, how would you direct me to drive there and say, let me see Mr. Matete?
That's right. Well, Kitwe Playing Fields is where the Kitwe United football club is. It's a very huge sporting complex.
Now I know.
Yes, we have.
You like Kitwe because you are failing to explain it to me who doesn't know Kitwe. I just know when I go Pariapamaini.
That's right.
Nafika Nkana East, Nkana West. Yeah. That's the Kitwe I know. And then I go to the bus station. Right. I know that hotel. What hotel is that?
Hotel Edinburgh.
Hotel Edinburgh.
That's right.
Then I know the way to Chingola.
Okay.
That's the Kitwe I know. So.
Okay. Well, the Kitwe Playing Fields is located. The best way to put it is at the border between Kwacha, Parklands, Buchi, and Kamitondo. So it is just in that area. In fact, if you know Zambia and the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation.
Now you are talking. I know Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation.
Yes.
Then it's in the same road.
No, I don't know if you know Lechwe Education Trust School.
Is it not on the same road where Maranatha is, and also Kitwe Teaching Hospital?
On that road, there is a road that goes opposite to that. In fact, there's a T-junction. It's a T-junction on that, and that takes you straight into KPF. So basically, when you are there in that road, you are very much around Kitwe Playing Fields. Yes, that's where it is. It's quite central located. It's just in the vicinity. Actually, you can at some point it's just the road that demarcates Kitwe Playing Fields and the Kitwe Boys.
Kitwe Boys, I know that. I know Kitwe First Encounter, Kitwe Boys.
As you come
Lechwe.
Actually, there's a junction there. So if you are coming from that, you actually turn left.
Oh, really?
And that, as soon as you turn left on that road, right at the end of Lechwe, you turn left.
Is that the one that goes to Copper Belt University?
No. That
I'm
one
lost.
is that one directly into KPF.
Okay.
Basically,
okay.
when you are there, you are at KPF.
So anybody living in Kitwe, they know that place?
Yes, they know. In
Yeah.
fact, they normally, the best way we do if we're directing somebody, say if you know Chingalika or if you know Kitwe playing, Kitwe United, Kitwe United Football Club, that's the one. Yeah, that's
Oh my goodness. I want us to take a break, Mr. Matete,
yes, sir.
so that there is a song, Mweba Sangwana Munkaramo. I don't know whether my director can pick it.
Okay.
Mweba Sangwana Munkaramo, Show Yourself, by, I don't know the artist.
Okay.
I want to dedicate this song. I didn't tell my director that I would want that. I want to dedicate this song to somebody who thinks they can't make it,
That's right.
who thinks they have no money, they have no nothing, but if they have got a talent, if they can run, Mr. Matete,
Yes,
we are good to go.
definitely.
And I like what you said, that what's his name, Usain Bolt,
yes.
did not train in America, did not train in Australia. He trained in his own country. He is Jamaican.
Yes.
I'm going to ask my director to play us that song, and God bless you.
God, I believe in you. Ebenezer, Ilange, Adonai, Ilange, Kanabesa, Ilange, 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 Ilange. Come on, let's sing together. Ebenezer, Ilange, hallelujah, Adonai. Father, show yourself. Ilange, I believe in you. Kanabesa, oh, we love you, Jesus. Ilange, 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 oh, we love you. Ilange, oh, 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 Ilange, we love you, Jesus. Ilange, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ilange, Ilange, wewe samba na mungaramu. Yes, I love. Yes, I love you. Oh, oh, oh. God of Abraham, show yourself today. Ilange, 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 oh, Ilange, Ilange, oh, wewe samba na mungulilo. Hey, yes, I love you. God of Abraham, God of Abraham, show yourself. Ikufilionse linafukama na kanwa kose katila niwe muba mwandasi balakulela nga walanda amabibielekana niwe bolesa we uchite bisungusho jakwabahumbi uwabangahiwe niwe bolesa wewe imevyasu we utunuilako abalwaninga batwimina Ilange, Ilange, hallelujah. Ilange, Ilange, wewe samba na mungaramu. Ilange, yes, I Ilange, oh, 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 oh. God of Abraham, show yourself today. Ilange, 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 lesawadi eloilange takwama yeona chatakela hallelujah lesawadi lelo ilange show yourself, hallelujah. Takwa kabe umbile, niwe wewe kanashika. Esa wawa mukamfuilwa, esa wawa na banshiwa, niwe utalalike yakala.
Dear Camnet TV viewers, welcome back. That song, I dedicated it to those of you that are going through situations like Daniel in the den of lions. Wele sawe usangwa na munkalamo. Tatailange, I would like us as a nation to rise to the occasion that we can do it. We will build Zambia. And I must thank Mr. Joseph Sample. He has come at this hour. But Zambia needs to know some of these people. Like I said, we do not celebrate our own heroes. Mr. Samuel Matete there, it was so amazing when I was speaking to Mr. Matete. I said, do you know Mr. Sample? He says, yeah, when we were starting, he was already there. And we are so grateful to have you, sir. Welcome to Camnet TV.
Thank you for having me. And if anything, I'm glad to be in the presence of one of our celebrated athletes and a coach who, through discipline, he reached high heights in sport. I can recall way back in 1987 in July, we were invited to in 1987 in July. We are participating in this Zone 6 championship that was in Zimbabwe. We are the group who opened initially that stadium. Actually, we commissioned it in further nations in Zone 6 athletics. Of course, our team, we had challenges. We had no one to run for us, to represent us in the hurdles 400 meters. But Sam Matete, here, he was very brave to say, actually, I'm a sprinter, 100 and 200, but equally, I don't think I can be left behind if I just jump over the hurdles. I can be presenting the nation with high performance, of course, and that he did. Preparation was just there outside the stadium. He warmed up with the assistant with Mr. Sam Wangala, who helped him. No, look here, Sam. Run about 13 steps. Don't worry about hitting the hurdles. Of course, he participated. To our surprise, he came up with a medal, a bronze. And that was the genesis of Sam Matete winning later on at various competitions internationally. Through discipline, this gentleman, for us who have known him, he has trained hard. Through discipline, just as in other sports, you can make it.
Now, Mr. Sample, I know you have seen him
Yes.
rise to the top in the world.
Yes.
And the other time I saw you training with the Arrows people, and when you were bending backwards, I thought momentarily you were a youth.
Yes.
And how old are you?
Almost 66 years old.
66 years.
Yes, but I keep my training schedule always.
But how are you managing to bend backwards and lie flat like this?
Yes, that I've continued exercising. At maximum without non-stop, of course, I can do sit-ups up to 250.
250?
250, yes. For
in one day?
Any day, every day I can do. That's it's my breakfast in the morning. I do that. I've got a flat timing because that's my schedule. You witnessed what I was doing.
Now, are you talking about my tummy? Why are you mentioning tummies on TV? I've seen Mr. Matete also.
Yes.
He's got a flat tummy. Am I in the wrong group?
No. You're actually in the best group.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we were talking before you came.
Yes.
Why has athletics gone so low in Zambia that we are not even talked about? Even when they are talking about it, you read, including Camnet TV, ZNBC, when they say sports, it's only soccer. We just talk about soccer, which is a shame. Why has athletics gone so low, Mr. Sample?
I don't think it has gone low. It has been on the rising, actually. Look what we've exposed more athletes in our days when we are running to see. Rarely that you see we are participating in all these zones. But however, our times, despite us producing more trainers, the juniors who are there, most of them, they are rushing into certain sports discipline without understanding it quite okay. Yes, athletics is improving, of course. Athletics has participated in a lot of tournaments. Yes, but people don't mention athletics. If you say athletics, you will confuse them. But if you say sports or mass sports, they will think it's athletics you are considering. That's how it is.
Yeah. Mr. Matete, before Mr. Sample came, I said, how can we build this national dream of raising up the athletes?
Pastor Chiruba, the fact is, Zambia has the capacity to do that. We have the talent. We have a lot of people like me, like Mr. Sample, who are very passionate, just like you have come also on board, very passionate about sports. Zambia can do it, but how much how much are we willing to give our life to that, to do it? But Pastor, when I was just before I started my academy, just like you said earlier, do you need money to run? No. Now we are in the generation that wants pay me first, then I will do the job, and then there's so much. I'll give an example. Like when I started my academy, I don't have any help at the moment, but I know that at an appropriate time help will come, but I need to show why help should come. And so I've dedicated myself to training athletes, and so far the fruits are coming.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
You have to forgive me, because me, I'm a direct talker.
Sure.
I talk straight. If the government, any government, UPND, MMD, PF, UNIP, like Dr. Kaunda was, do you see that Dr. Kaunda campus,
Yes.
everyone, all of us, we look back to Dr. Kaunda. Despite coming from Chawama John Howard, without our father,
Yes.
some of us would not even have learned how to speak English.
Definitely.
I am saying, when the government does not have a deliberate policy
Yes.
to say we will take this route, you cannot develop at a faster rate, isn't it, Vasampa?
Yes.
So we should not even put a bit about the bush. The government is to blame.
Yes.
Any government. Number two, the government also is to blame because investors come in here. They get copper, they get things, they become rich. They don't even donate 10% into sports of the country. And I think I blame them because in Ethiopia and other countries, you come as an investor, they will even give you this, the percentage you have to leave into sport.
Exactly.
That's why they grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pastor, maybe you can, just sorry to cut you, now you can remember what I said when I started the academy. You would wish that companies, these big companies, they can, they can come in and looking at what you're doing for the community, because we need them to give back to the community. But they are not, and no company is doing that. So definitely it goes back to, just like you said, our government policies, because when these companies come, at the moment they are in athletics. I doubt if they are giving as much as they should, because the fact is, if we are going to the administration, I'm just giving an example, like for example football, for example athletics, for example any organization, it's not their duty to develop athletics. It's the job of the clubs, the area boards, and all these away from the administration. This is where we should develop athletics, and this is where companies should put money. Let me go back just briefly back to the CCM. On the Copper Belt, there were a lot of clubs: football, badminton, tennis, you name it, rugby, you name it. It was sponsored by the local division. In other words, there was Nkana division, there was Rwanda division. Rwanda division sponsored that, Nkana division sponsored that. So you find that it was easy for administrators or the administration to run sports, because they would just say, we have a competition here, transportation is there, the coaches, everything is there. This doesn't happen anymore.
So you are saying these things have gone Nabazungu. The moment the mind is shut, football went down, athletics went down.
Yes.
Isn't that an embarrassment to Vasampa?
Yes, but also sport has become more scientific. I didn't know this until I was afforded a chance to go and study at the University of Hungary in Budapest, where I did my coaching. Why I say so, most of the trainers, the so-called coaches, they are not highly qualified.
They are not qualified?
No, because it's like it's guesswork. We just get the runners, the intended people to want to train and make them run, just like that. That's guesswork. Our friends up north in Europe and in the United States of America, they've moved to a step further. What they do there is they've gone scientifically. Yes, there are runners who want to run. Yes, there are those who want to sprint. And they will train, but you cannot train and attain the required standard to win a race. Because running itself is scientific. Why I say so? Each one of us, as human beings, you belong to one of the two group of muscles, the red muscle and the white muscle. For those who belong to a white muscle, it's where you get the good sprinters, good high jumpers. They come from red muscle or white muscle. For a red muscle, even if he's interested or she's interested in running sprints, she will not attain that. Why? In the white muscle, there is what we call myosin. Myosin is a very minute spring-like muscle, and the scientifically it's proved that these individuals who are in white muscle, when they are excited or they get worried, actually they stammer. Those are it's where you get the good sprinters. Now imagine in Zambia, you can't identify which group belongs to white muscle from the red muscle, and you just start training them for years, and they cannot actually attain the standard of international. You'll be guessing. So actually what it is, you will get a slide, you see that actually the white muscle, they are sprinters from 100.
You can tell that by blood.
Yes, not by blood, but just a small muscle on the strike there. You can go to any doctor there, you can get that. You see that white muscle, they are sprinters and high jumpers. Red muscle, yes, they can take middle distance and long distance. Our friends, they're doing this in Eastern Africa and the other places who are advanced. Here, it's not there. So we get a group and you train them even for 5 years. The advantage they will get, they will be healthy because they are training, not speed. Speed is passed to you from your parents when you are born. So you don't train to acquire speed. You should belong to white muscle. There's a high percentage of myosin. Lack of that, if you are put to sprint in 400 meters, by 300,
Now you are confusing me because
Yes.
from your explanation, my wife has a white muscle, a red muscle.
it's all the same. And one of the offsprings will get one of the percentage which is high.
That's right.
Sure.
Yes.
I pray they get my wife's because she was.
She was a sprinter, I know her. You know, the records are here. They are trained by Miss Chester.
Just a man.
Yes, they had a good relay team here. And they were competing. They were being trained. You see, at Kamwala Secondary School. Yes.
She was at Kablonga.
Kablonga, yes. But they were being trained there. There's a Mnari Secondary School and other people.
And you've got all those.
All the records are here
records are there.
from 62. It was compiled by the late Stan Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that, Mr. Sample, I still want to take you back
Yes.
to the failure of the government
Yes.
to come up with policies
Yes.
to say we shall support this. The only policy they have effectively is for fast.
But
That's what I see. Swimmers, runners,
yes, of the
basketball. Think of the West Indies, including Zimbabwe.
Yes.
There is that, what's this, where they smash the ball?
Cricket.
Cricket, yes.
Cricket.
Yes.
That's a big thing in West Indies.
Very big.
Australia.
Yes. Australia, yes.
You can imagine these people travel.
Everywhere.
I watch cricket with my wife when I'm in West Indies. You mean Zambia cannot produce
Yes.
that? Kuma Febola and Nkondo. We can.
In fact, the
In fact,
facilities were there.
we even have
on the
the
Copper Belt.
they're still there. Yes.
Still there.
Cricket grounds are still there.
Where I was born and brought up on Copper Belt in Changa, they're still there.
Yes, they're
There's
still
actually a line of swimmers, rugby, even all those. They are there.
Yes.
So
My brother was at Kansench Secondary
Secondary
School.
school.
Yes.
He went to the general, Chiluba. He went there
That's right.
to visit the school and found that the swimming pool, yeah, they were buried. Asharafi diving. You know, even in Kablonga girls, yes, there's a very good professional swimming pool.
Yes.
You go there, you would cry.
Yes.
Why isn't the government looking one government after another? They are just so much involved in winning seats.
Yes.
But promoting the nation through sport is not there.
but I think myself, we can go what we used to happen. Is the whole talent is there in primary schools. So if we develop the competition at that level, then we'll have the pool of where we get. Also the talent identification. Athletics as a sport is not all about running. We can go to our tradition sports. For example, if you are given a chance to go and select a tradition sport which we can get even in rural area, I would prefer to have a competition whereby you get an implement like a javelin, 800 grams, and a tape, 50 meters. Then you go to Namwala. You say, here we are not running. It's part of athletics. So we're not running, but it's javelin throw. Then you go to age group from 18 to 24, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
yes. And you put some money. With the local primary schools. There they run and dance with javelin, that traditional spear, which is even heavier than the 800 grams.
We have it here. Yes.
Our friends in East Africa,
Yeah.
that's champion of javelin.
Yeah, from Kenya.
From Kenya.
Really?
Yes,
Yes.
but I mean,
Because they use spear.
yes,
From the Maasai
athletics
tribe.
is not
Yeah.
from a
From the Maasai tribe.
Maasai side.
The Maasai tribe.
Yes.
They use it as
In
a
Namwala here, our friends there, even old men and women, they dance with spears. It's
I
athletics.
think even in Eastern Province.
Yeah, in Eastern Province, but the Asaga, yes.
Ngonis, yes.
Yes, but the Asaga in Eastern Province, they don't throw it. But in Namwala, they throw.
They throw bomb.
Equally, if you have a current talent identification, which tribe where you get an average very top people? It's Western, isn't it?
Western. Yes.
Eh? If you go there and pick those who are very tall, and you bring a landing mattress and high jump, the one who jumps his height picked. That's high jump.
I like that.
Yes.
It's
analysis.
natural.
Yes, yes.
We have it here.
We have it there. But so that we are
But what are-
concentrating on running.
What
on
are we
running.
doing about
No.
it?
Ah,
All we want is a sprint.
Sprint. No, we should go out there and pick them.
A pastor was a headler. I
Yeah.
was a 400-meter
Yes.
headler, jumping, running and jumping,
Yes.
running and jumping. Yeah. That's what I was. Yeah. But you will never see any headling or jumping in this country.
Really?
Yes.
Jumping, even if a long jump. We used to have some good jumpers. Remember the late Mr. Bogam?
Yes.
May he so rest in peace.
Sure.
He was a very good jumper.
Jumping,
Long jump, like
Longer jump. And
there's high jump,
there is high jump.
and then
yeah.
there's also long
longer
jump. How long
They
you can
want
jump.
you jump in the sand.
Yes.
Eh.
When did we ever hear about a decent jumper in Zambia? And there are plenty of jumpers.
Zambia.
Yes,
Yeah, there.
I'm even developing one of them.
Yes.
You know, Mr. Sample, before you came,
Yes.
Mr. Matete brought a very valid point, and now you are qualifying what he said. He said, Hussein Bolt and all those guys from Jamaica, they never train in America.
No.
They
See,
train
within
in their
the
country.
yes.
Kenyans, Ethiopians, they train in their country.
Yes.
Then they showcase the talent.
Outside.
You
In
have
fact,
brought
you-
something to say, let's go to Namwala.
Yes.
Let's go to Loziland. Let's go to Tongaland. We
Yes.
identify talent.
Yes. In fact, like attitude training, it started from West Africa during 1968 Olympics.
Yes.
They only saw that actually the Kenyans, they're always running and they are winning. What's the trick? They came to run, they sent actually trainers and scientists to go and Kenya to see how they're training. There was also nothing unusual about it. So that they were only an elevation, high altitude. So the red cells in their body able to carry oxygen. So when running, it helped them. Then other nations adopted. Europe, they started running from the Kenyans. Equally here in Zambia, if you have to long distance, you have to camp in Mbala.
Mbala is
Mbala.
is
Yes,
very-
Mbala.
we
Mbala
have
is high.
we have high
have.
altitude in Mbala.
Almost like East Africa, yes. Just come to there for 3 weeks.
Even-
you
and-
develop red cells, isn't it?
Yes, and if that place can even be developed,
Yes.
you can have foreigners come to train there.
To come and train there.
Because it's an
and
elevation.
It's actually forex, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
Yeah.
We have all these
all
these
those.
things are here in Zambia.
Government is to blame. Organizations are to blame most of the time. we fight for positions and posts
Yes.
than having a vision.
A vision, yes.
And also parents are to blame.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, these children, they come from homes.
Yes.
If parents are not picking the interest, they can't go anywhere. And this is why
In
my
fact,
wife and I are emphasizing Vasampole. Tomorrow,
Yes.
we are meeting both parents and the boys who are playing in the
The team.
Cabinet Sports Academy.
Yes, yes.
The soccer boys. We are meeting them here at 10 hours. Why?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Because we want to let them know how important they are
Yes.
and
yes.
how gifted the children are.
Yes.
My wife and I are not developing these players for local scene. We are developing for international.
Yes.
That's our vision.
In fact, Pastor, you brought one point before I forget, to involve parents.
Yes, yes.
We are talking handling young ones. Athletics, any other sport, it involves diet.
Yes.
So actually, the input comes from parents. To grow, we have to give them a balanced diet. That is, proteins and everything. So parents actually, they play a major role in development.
They play major role.
Yes.
Recently-
Apart from the parents, without putting anything, they will be. And the undernourished kid cannot win anything. He cannot develop.
You wanted to say this, Amadede?
But Pastor, this is a very important. This is very important what what you've brought up. Recently, we got a girl. She's in grade 12 this year. Very talented in sprints. You know, Pastor, I tested the girl. I could see that this girl can be developed. Yeah. But the parents said, no, we want you to be studying. Yeah? There you're just wasting your time. I had to go physically to talk to the parents. The dad finally agreed. I think he was able to understand. The mother was not willing to. Now, what is so sad about it, when they told her to stop, she will still call me, Coach, I really want to come, but my parents are not allowing me. So I've just told her, no, okay, let's wait until you write your grade 12, and then you can start coming. That is so that what you are going to do is really, really important to educate the parent. Because sometimes, I tell you, Pastor, when I was in high school, it was about school. But no one knew what I was carrying. And what I was carrying, it was inside me, Pastor. It took not my mother, not my father, not my uncle, but somebody else to see, hey, this one can run. This is what my coach used to sometimes pull each other with my uncle. Not because he was wrong, because my coach saw something in me which none of these people saw. Yeah. And when it was said and done, then that's when they realized, this guy was born a runner. This just as well support him. And that's how I got a scholarship. And from then on, the whole family, everybody changed. And that's what's so good about sport, because once they see it, it changes everybody.
Parents, they play major roles in our... I grew up partly in Kabul. I was at Broadway Primary School. During my time, I used to go and train as a boxer. What's this? Kabul Mines. Now I was so scared of my brother. The firstborn in our family was a giant.
You're still a giant even.
He was a giant. Yes. I was so scared of him. Even telling my sister-in-law that I trained boxing. It's my friends who knew and how good I was. No, and my wife and I saw the talent in our son, Michael Chiloba, playing golf. That boy, I walked with him. We traveled. My wife would finance us, go to California, Canada. We went with my wife, left him in the academy. He appeared on CNN. For 3 days they were saying a boy from South Africa, Michael Chiluba, He helped Calgary guys to bring their trophy, which they hadn't won in years. Now you can imagine why he went to those levels. Because my wife and I were very involved. And as parents, assembly, if we don't recognize the talents in boys and girls, we are missing it.
Sure.
Today, go to school. I read an article, Mr. Matete, to the parents who came to the academy. I read them an article on Google. Those European boys and everyone playing in those Manchester,
Leicester, European leagues,
those clubs. The least paid player is £65,000 every Friday.
Every Friday.
Minus the winning team.
Yes.
I mean winning
Bonuses.
minus training allowance, minus this. That salary is fixed. $65,000 pounds, £67,000 monthly, £260,000.
Yes.
Which doctor, which general manager can get that money here in Zambia? But you see the British mentality na yali tonaula kula ndafatika bye school. Umwana nangu chikopo kuchiamutuka. But you say go and try. Go and study.
Go and study.
Umwana nangu alikuwa talent musoka. Go to school. Finish mulewa.
In fact, sport actually is business now.
It's big business, yes.
Yeah, the sports providers, the Adidas, Nike, Puma, all those, when they advertise what they produce, they give you a contract, you sign, you will be getting money. Him was being paid by the Adidas,
Adidas and then
but
Nike.
Yes, and Nike.
And Nike.
Yes. Even here, your team, those
Cabinet stars.
yes, if they sign contract, Adidas, they'll be getting money enough to offset the bills for medicals, even for rations and everything.
Yes.
That's the way it is. You talked of sponsors, they come in. They see that you are serious, they'll be paying for your coaches and for transportation, everything. But so that we failed to market ourselves.
That's right.
There is Cabinet TV sampling. Use this platform.
Yes.
This is a national television.
Yes.
Let's revive this.
Definitely.
Somebody, as we speak right now, they are listening in Canada. They are listening. The other time we were here talking about sport. Somebody called from the UK and we've been chatting on WhatsApp.
Yes.
One of his 11-year-old boy is been taken by Leicester Club, Zambian, 11 years.
Yes.
And he said, Pastor Chiloba, I want to be part of what you have begun in Zambia.
Yes.
I am so grateful.
Yes.
This platform goes anywhere. People watch us from Australia, from what? I think let's revive this because
Definitely.
there is no nation here where Dionse Kula dealing with Namakadas. Dionse Nama votes.
Yeah.
No progressive mind you go at. How is our sport?
Yes.
I think I have a problem with that.
In fact, what it is now, the trainers are there. Be it boxing, be in athletics now, there are so many.
So many.
Those who can help to handle the young ones. Sponsorship, if it's at hand, will help them to handle. And I know actually even the government, instead of giving money to be receiving because it's dollars coming.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Matete, you wanted to say something. You said, in fact, what?
What I wanted to say, Pastor, was if you look at the state of our youths, they've grown. There are so many, and all they see is just cadarism. Look at. I'm sure you remember recently there was a lot of uprising. Bad groups on the Congo Belt, the Tokota boys and things like that. And in those compounds, that's where they were rising from. The reason is simple: they have nothing to do. And what they can, and it's easy for them to talk to them about cadarism, because that's what they see and that's what they feel they can channel their energy. Yes, there's money here. That's the thing.
Political parties.
Yes.
Their minds are locked up.
Yes, just locked up in there. But just like you say, with this program you're talking about, we start creating sports opportunity, because sports is about opportunity and laying a platform.
Sure.
That's how some of us, Pastor, grew up. The platform was laid. And we were there, and we were all there was no cadreism back then.
Because we started first, it was inter schools, first inter-house, then inter-school, inter-provincial, then at national level.
Then from there you branch off to the clubs.
Yes.
The clubs were there.
You know, on the 26th of July, Camnet Stars have been invited to participate in a league that has begun by the Americans. It was started by one of the guys who played for Barcelona, and there will be a World Cup.
That's right.
In the West in America. Can you imagine? They've invited 2 teams from Africa, a Nigerian team, and the Camnet Stars. We are representing.
Amazing.
I'm telling you. But when you hear what they've said, Pastor, we want talented boys, because if they are so good, there will be over 120 scouts from Europe and from America.
Yes.
The whole purpose is they will be giving 100% scholarship in the United States, where you went.
That's
Can you imagine?
Yes.
And my wife and I said, we are not going to waste these opportunities.
Yes.
And there are more opportunities that we have put in place.
Yes.
And you wonder, you mean Zambia cannot produce soccer players? It can't produce athletes? It can't produce people who can swim? I think there is something wrong with us and our attitude.
Definitely.
You know. Let me open up the lines, Mr. Matete and Mr. Sample, for the people to participate in this program. Maybe we are missing something. Maybe they would want to ask some questions. But I believe that Zambia, we are a great nation. We have got talent. We've got whatever it takes. And even the Zambian people, Mr. Sample, Abakwatama business. Uguisafia to Mr. Matete, here is 100,000.
That's right.
In fact,
they will not bring Zambians.
Zambians, no.
Session.
But Pastor, I know when I was coming from Kitwe, coming to Lusaka. Then one of the Zambian, just this morning.
This morning.
Oh, when you were coming,
just when I was coming. It was one of the ladies called me. She's Zambian, but she's married to a white man in UK. And this white man is Irish. And this one, he used to see me when I was running. And so when he came, he just happened to be in Zambia this week. And he was telling his wife, I said, I would like to meet someone, but I'm told he's in Zambia. I would like to meet him. So this lady, calls up, and finally got my number. So he sent me a text. She sent me a text. She said, Mr. Matete, is this your number? I would really love to meet with you. Then I called, and she said, yes, actually, that's my number. She said, Mr. Matete, please, my husband has been your fan all these years. And when I told him that you were in Kitwe, we are coming to Kitwe, he wants to meet you. I said, Madam, unfortunately, I'm leaving for Lusaka, but I'll meet you. Can we meet on the way? But Pastor, she didn't tell him, she wanted to give me a surprise. So they stopped alongside Maposa on the other side of the road, and they started blinking. So I came and I went there. So I came out there. This white man came out. Pastor hugged me like I was a baby. I mean, this morning he was, excited just to see me. Then I even brought up my athletes. I thought, look, this is what I'm doing. I thought, this is amazing. I have a company, and I really want to support you. He came he was so, and I want to support you, Mr. Matete. And in fact, next week, before I go, I'm coming to KPF. This is just wonderful. You were a great athlete, and for you to start doing this and, giving back to the community, this is wonderful.
It is very painful.
You don't see that to Zambians, no.
No, in Zambia, I thank God for a few people. You can imagine, Mr. Matete, my wife and I, this year in September, this station will be 6 years.
That's right.
We are doing what we could.
That's right.
By the grace of God, we've been helped by people. Some people send in 10 kwacha, others 1,000 kwacha, and 200 kwacha. I'm grateful for such people. But you know, if Zambia was a nation that would say, where is Mr. Matete, where is Mr. Sample? He's a good coach. I want him to come and start coaching. You can coach 5 clubs. You can coach 5 clubs. And we are developing. Zambia is not just about Matete or Sample. This is a nation. And if we have the nation at heart, so we will develop this country.
By passing over our knowledge to those who are coming.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We have Prince Mumba is in the country, and Ruben Sulimba is in the country from the States. These are athletes who left Zambia and went to America.
I remember Prince
Mumba. He's in the country.
Yeah,
Pastor, can you imagine? Prince Mumbai says,
let's pick up this call.
Mr. Matete.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Mr. Mike from Lusaka.
Mr. Mike from Lusaka.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead and contribute to the nation.
Yes, my contribution is that we want to Mr. Matete in the athletic of nowadays. He really put this country on top. That's my word is that I think one athletic association hasn't been doing very well over the years. You know, but the same president for so many years. I thought, why can't, let's give chance to just like Mr. Matete, who understands the game and who can be able to teach the young ones on how to compete throughout the world. I think for me, the Zambia Athletics Association lacks people like Mr. Matete who can be able to change things. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike. That's Mr. Mike calling from within Lusaka. He says, Mr. Matete, you are supposed to be in the athletic, you are supposed to be leading that. But I don't want to get into that area, lest it becomes political.
That's right.
Let me just say that let's stick to you as Mr. Matete and Mr. Sample. We can develop this nation.
Yes.
With or without, let's pick up this call. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Okay, we'll pick up that call later, I'm sure. What I'm saying is this, Sample. I'm a pastor.
Yes.
I don't have to be effective when I belong to Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia or the what's that other, our mother bodies.
Yes.
I can belong there. I belong to those organizations, especially Evangelical Fellowship. I support it 100%. But for me to be effective, it should not be, I can only be effective when I'm in an organization. I think this is one point I'm bringing a sample. Yes, those Athletic Association of Zambia, it's an organization.
Yes, it is.
But I'm talking about people like you, Mr. Matete, people like Mr. Sample. With or without the organization, you can be an asset. You are assets to this nation.
Yes.
If we begin thinking about this position, that position, you are going to kill the potential in this nation.
Yes. And I think our pastors, you are very correct on that, and I think that's what I think myself and Mr. Sample are living up to. I think at some point I felt, just like what you say, Pastor, it's very, very important that to let those people who are in position, let them do their work. And let the people judge them. And let them do whatever they're doing, and if they're doing good, they're doing bad, let the people judge them. As myself, people like myself and Mr. Sample, we need to go back to the grassroots. What can we, it's like saying, are we just here to be talking or criticizing or what? I think it's important that we all get down to, after all, sport is not politics. It's not talking. It's about action. And that's why, if you notice, myself and Mr. Sample, we've gone back to the grassroots. What can we give to the nation? And that's what we are basically doing. And I think that's what all of us, just look at our pastor, you are an inspiration to the nation, what you're doing already. A great inspiration, because we need to, even more pastors to realize that what you're doing is great. But Joe will do what is, not talking about other organization, no. And you've done a very good job. We say, no, I'll do this, and you are going to be blessed for that purpose. Yes.
Because even when we began this soccer academy assembly, you see me coming there. You've seen what we have done, the Kuma grounds and everything. We are doing our best. I don't have to wait for FAS to say, Pastor Chua, go and look for good talent. No. Our organization is being led by FAS, but I'm not going to sit down and start talking about Andrew Gamanga and this executive and what. I think Zambia must raise people with passion. People who have the nation at heart, with or without money. Let me find somebody who can be able to run with a vision. You know.
Pastor, just like what you are saying, just like with or without money. I mean, look at, we have Prince Mumba. Prince Mumba, Coach Matete, I'm here to support what you're doing is great. He has financed the trip for us to come here to Kitwe.
Really?
Ruben Sulimba is one of the former athletes. He gave us his car keys. Here's a car. He puts in fuel. You can take the kids. And we have many more former Zambian athletes who are in America who are willing to help.
Really?
Yes.
Arik Musukuma is a kit for athletes who are locally. Arik Musukuma is
that's another Zambian athlete.
Yeah, he was in the Red Arrows. Now he's in the States. He knows him. They were together there. He sent kits for sports attire for our local athletes to be using, starting from the spikes and the tracksuits.
So they're out there, Pastor, just like you said, they're out there. When I was coming, there's another man, he plays Madalas football or at KPF. I want to assist you. What can I help? He just sent us 1,000 kwacha. Please support the kids.
Now imagine somebody sending 1,000 kwacha. There are people in this nation who can send 10,000, who can send 100,000. Why not have Mwele somewhere? Chino Ichalo. Why can't we have Zambians who say, I'm going to stand behind this organization, I'm going to stand. Why not?
That's right.
Yonse kula kwata fienda mulei na fie mulei ya fie no kufanya fima hata ataki muna nduwa mafuta. You know, it pains me.
No, it
because
does, but even me.
We are a great nation. We can make it. Once we come together, believe in ourselves, we can make it.
Sure.
People like Prince Mumba and Mulena and Dana Musukuma, if we come together, please let's change the face of this nation.
Yes.
Because in athletes, Mr. Sample, we can bring more money in sport.
Yes,
we can bring more money than tourism.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Abantu bachitafenga baisa kulowa Zambezi baingira n'emyotoga ipaye ninama basenda kona nama diamonds babutuka baya mulejima tourists catch they are fake.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, very true.
Mr. Director, please give us some text messages if at all there are some, so that we can read. Pastor Chiluba, continue with the same spirit. God bless you. Patricia Walia from Ndola. Thank you, my sister. May God bless you and keep you. Good evening, Pastor Chiluba, Mr. Sample, Mr. Matete Sample, and Mr. Ngwira were an inspiration to us in athletes in Chingola North in the 80s.
Yes.
Those good ZCCM times. Vachanda from Mufurira. You know you have affected people. There's Vachanda Mufurira.
Yes.
You remember Angwira?
Yes, he was a long distance runner, marathon and 10,000. He contributed a lot, actually.
May I look in this camera and appeal to President HH, and appeal to the Minister of Sports, and appeal to the PS Kangwachileshe Mwanawandi, and all of you in the administration. I'm a title yasuma, but fruit is very important. Stand up and let's lift sport to allow intellectual, political. Let's stand and raise the bar in this nation. You have a team, 5 years. If people love you, you continue 10 years, you'll be out of this. What will you have done for the athletes like Mr. Matete, who is a national world figure? You don't even know Mr. Matete exists. You don't. There are some cabinet ministers in Gabafumamo. The next time we have post office, as if this person did not work for this nation. I'm a general. This person was a commander. What kind of a nation do we live in? You know. So, government of UPND, when you don't, I like your team, New Dawn. Na kubeko New Dawn kuma sports. Twingile, sports unites, and all this. Most of all, Vasample. If we go into all these areas of sport, employment will not be talked about. I'm telling you. We can employ more people in sport than even the government employs.
Yes.
I don't know whether I'm wrong.
You are right, actually.
But if you go to the compounds today, it's very sad. You know, there was one time I went into Kwacha, and I was trying to organize a cross country. And what they started talking about, send the land. So we really had to convince them. I don't know, we brought us cross country. We're just making a route for the cross country. Just like Jonathan talked about. You know, we go in the community, inside here, and in an open space, and we make a cross-country route. And eventually they got to realize that, oh, it was something sport, and they all came out to watch. It was really, really nice. And those things are all gone. If you ask for support, no one will want to hear you about your support, no.
In fact, the tracks we are using, the Gablonga grounds, Mr. Sample knows, Jonathan Spalo, before we came, even after the interview here,
yes, right.
He said, Pastor, red arrows. This track can be an international track.
Yes.
People can do 5,000, they can do 10,000.
Yes.
We are not short of space. We are not short of talent. You know, I want my boys much like Matagota boys. Criminal activities. Film runners if. Why not bring them?
Yes, more sports.
Sport.
Yes. Yeah, no.
May God bless us. Please give us the text messages. I would want to hear from what the Zambians are saying. Good evening, Pastor Chula and Mr. Matete. I would like to find out whether Mr. Samuel Matete has done any documentary of his life story, e.g. in a book. I am touched by the success story in his life and would like to read more about him. This is Dr. Joseph Achinto in Cabo. Because definitely Dr. Achinto is very right.
Yes.
People are writing about Usain Bolt.
Yes.
They are writing about Tiger Woods. They are writing about this. And you can see, you may not write a book.
Yeah, in fact,
So if you want to know where to University of Zambia to say, Mr. Matete, can I write your story?
Yes.
He said, have you got a book? Let's pick up this caller first, then we'll come back. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Mwabombeni mayo ni mwebani era muletu mina. Vana Kennedy. Kukitwe bana sikyalo.
I think
Landeni mai. Emkwai.
Because abantu bakiwa bafanya mkutano majete abantu bekwaya n'ekitani.
Amen. Ati tabayi minene shani?
Tabayi minene kuli yamani kani yotumpina twakolo
NOCZ.
London Port over namushwa program
there was recent elections, National Olympic Committee of Zambia, where President Foloko was re-elected. Yeah, that's what she was asking.
Oh, Muno Zambia.
Yeah, last week.
Kwajama elections. So
that's for NOCZ. It's not that is another post. For us,
in fact, as you earlier on, we only go back. He earlier indicated that as Chama points in Shakoba Toko, Barike, ni phone punch kufunda bantu. So talent yetu akwatuna knowledge. Let's go back down there.
Yes, and then teach.
We pass over what we know.
Bana Kennedy na bene fe bale ipusha. Mungu control bana Kennedy ngande rufyanya fyako batu wa sample. Ngamwaba president na ngamwaba Copa Belt chairperson. You can still go grassroots and influence. If you bale landa bana Kennedy, if you
yes.
Muchalonge tine muleta ndabuno bino ababantu baleke bakwire bakakonjani kodwa ababantu balakitanda amatale ngera kwacha bayi kodwa manje ya kutote ni sokshani akisi kumwabulo mundu wa kwacha mole taiki nisamate ngolika pinjani ibintu kutile munguruka dan mwana ula sio mundu wala mimi support. Ala kitanya nyanda sana.
That's right.
So iko kwa tu papa kitalo ngeli yona kiseke. Dole keke komunya ama yena. Pende ko mundu keke position no wala kitanya sana hivi. Dani na mundu pia umbiu. Tena mtu wa kabisa bwana kama matendo hiyo ni sana hivi. Imwe veni kundashi, veni ko vanini kuspoti. Somba vanti somno nowe ante vanini kuspoti. Somba tala kuskajani wapasi.
Mayoba na Kennedy, inecho na ishiwa muno Zambia ngatawa ishiwa kushana. Techukwa teko postiringi. Koma washana kwa ifune fikondo. Wabakanda. Hello winga yako kulia. But like she is saying, people like you, Matete, you are educated. Yes. You qualify to be director of sports, Ministry of Sports. Now, sample. You people have done great things. But as long as you are not a politician, as long as you don't go marina, taba kami monde. Mayole mbile saka tuwafa kuliwa New Dawn bakulalo le shapabantu I hear you. That one should be my church member.
That's right. You should invite her.
I'm telling you, you know, this is painful for example. If you are in Kennedy, Petimu Yabula pastor, Elo Mwevera to be director, Ministry of Finance. Fish and dance, how many demons are there that
That's right.
So, you know, for somebody to be in this ministry, they must have passion. For somebody to be in this, I can tell you, Matete, oh, the Lord bless my wife. She is doing everything. Ilupia tuakwata vipale abana tabalile ku ground oh tukonde. She's doing everything. And our prayer sample. You see how committed they are. Effort we saw Pakabwaila. Because we have just said not to landa Pafula, not to landa Pafula. But we want to produce boys that will play in Europe. Right. Somebody can say, I'm from the Camnet Sports Academy. The Lord will receive the glory. They are not my children, but I want to work with the parents to say, you know, this is my attitude and that of my wife. Sure. Dionse kula umanafi yo unikateo. Oyuni nani? Oyuni nani? Tamuli nefia londolo kefile yamo. That's right. The Minister of Sports mumvu ikishelelo na imwe ba PS bakangwash mwana wandi mupose kwa mano chino chalo chesu. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Chiluba.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Samam from the Trends, and I'm calling you from Gateway.
You are who?
Samam from the Trends.
Nsama.
Nsama.
Musonda. Emkwaiba Nsama kukitwe.
Musonda.
Nsama Musonda kukitwe. Mayo, you are very clear. So say ni chalo chile myumfa.
Thank you very much, Pastor Chiluba. Good evening, Basam.
Good evening.
I just want to appreciate the talk because for sure what you're talking about, Zambia's got a lot of talent. And if you look at where we're coming from in the education sector in the past 5 years, you look at our children's performance, it hasn't been up to standard because children are confined to the classroom. And if we can roll out these programs and go back to the way sports used to be, I think it would even help because our children are like being tarnished with the syllabus that we currently have. And quite so thought that I program on you have done a lot in Gateway. And we're just hoping that you could extend programs like this even to Luakula, where you are our pride and heritage, so that if the people elsewhere can also benefit. And fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayoba Nsama. And may I appeal after Nsama, if you are Landa, may I appeal to Zambians? Mwena Zambia, mwena ba stingy. Alaka so, kale paya. Support these men. Support every Zambian who is progressive in mind. With your money, with your vehicles. There is Mamatete. Somebody says, "Ama kids are Kabia Nikulosaka." Because somebody is very passionate. Cash Chabashan, when Muntuna Watenda Imyotoka 70 Payad now Kwatenda Lama. But you can't look at people like Mamatete. Limbi vale pitamu kitwe vale ya mulelanda teva matete vale alipwa wewa pwaniwe because he is doing what he can do. But Sample is training soldiers, is training people. Mwebantu bakwalesa inechira nkalipa wa Sample mulenjelera ko apaba no mukashwa ndi apanga natukoshe omuliro efeleza tupanga fe naifu because there is no way a country va matete ku Nigeria mumone ku Nigeria ama Nigeria ningaingira ve mu Europe nangu taishwa kutea kutu mafoni Oga, is there someone in Ibadan? I have got this one. Oga, is there somebody? You find Nigerians, you find the Cote d'Ivoire. Look at what they are producing. Muno Zambia, yavi netwa sharafe na magreti kalu. Leza nampa nanombana tukwata kona ba fashion sakala na ba nani tule landa fe pabantu batatu. Mwe bantu bakwalesa as a nation. Fimotule kwata ko insoni. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello? Mule tumina kukamuneti na mulibani mule tuminama.
Yes,
Omle basamo matete mkwaye mwa nani?
Mkwaye.
Bamatete bale mfalande
Ndio mfaye.
Nani shina? Collins, muletu mina kuisa. Kurusaka, Makeni. Please speak to the nation.
So first of all, I would like to thank Jehovah. My pastor.
Tilibwino amalume mulibwanje naimwe. Va Collins Chefian volume ku TV. Papa watingana na okay, and then to for any Collins.
My pastor.
Mukwai. Zikom.
Today at the Poets Bar. Mwenga ziko na kupata program ya nobele mwapolisa madogosia na siasa. Mulungu akujalie ni my pastor.
Zikom Collins.
Ichoya manonga ziko mokuli wa matete.
Thank you.
You are the one who brought the Zambia government party ahead. So Matete, don't fear, go ahead. Ulivena nguo pakuchingani imwe takanyama address. Mubazi wa Bangara wa Bangara Zaga Zambiri Pampano Presidency. He never attended the Kutama of my election, Kutama of my fourth year. But you were told that in the way. So, please, Ramatete, we are behind you, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please, go ahead. Now, after please, pastor. All Manama Chamudari says in the in our place, the Mutiara, that's why. Bamatete, Napoleon, Dinao, no Punzavana, Motamangia. No Matete, Matamanga, but
oh, the line is cut. Mr. Matete, the man Collins is saying, please forge ahead. Go ahead, do a sample. Mule mfatata. Imamu alifipita mwefi. The success and failure of athletics in Zambia are on your shoulders.
Definitely.
Don't wait for the organization, for the minister, for the PS. Please start regrouping.
Definitely.
Tell your friends in America, everywhere, let's come together as a nation. When the time the ministers will think of, let me call Matete, we thank God. When they will think of coming to visit your academy, we thank God. As a matter of fact, I'm sure my wife, who is the CEO for this broadcast, she's listening. One day she may just send the journalist to say, I want you to go and cover Mr. Matete. And when you have programs, please let us know.
Sure.
Because in Zambia, Abena Zambia, tulalava kwangu. I'm telling you, Tulalaba Mangu. May God bless us. Mr. Director, give us some text messages so that we can read. In swimming, I think let's try Western and Luapula province. They can make good swimmers if given proper training. This is the 80 in Kafue. And Luapula na Southern province, Western province. Good evening, Pastor Chiluba. Continue doing what you are doing, helping people. I am Mrs. Maureen Mwenya in Kitwe. Madam, thank you so much. May God bless you. We will continue doing what we do. Good evening, Pastor Chiluba. Basample na Matete. Do not be discouraged. Keep up your good works. All sacrifices you are making for the love of this nation, God has not forgotten your labor of love, and will surely reward you. Amandiba Elizabeth, may the Lord bless you. Mule mfaba matete. Tata komkanyeni pova sample. Your labors are not in vain. Good evening, Pastor Chiluba. I'm disappointed to learn that those two people on your panel are not supported by government in that sport respect. What kind of people do they support then? This one is like me.
Yes, Papa.
He says, why isn't the government supporting you people? This is a shame and an embarrassment to the nation. Good evening, Pastor Chiluba, Mr. Matete and Mr. Sample. Continue with the same spirit of developing sports from the grassroots. Patson Mashebe from Choma.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick Patson. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Good evening, Pastor Moses, and two elder brothers who inspired me during our days. I know those two coaches. They can't fail to bring back athletics of those days. Our pastor, please, may you continue bringing such programs for a better Zambia. Vincent Atuleke in Lusaka West.
Yes.
You know, this is the Zambia. Thank you, Mr. Director. Keep those. Let me read this last one. Let me read it. Evening, Pastor. I'm proud of those two legends. Greet them for me, Vasample. I am Kaulu from Changa Mine. I'm Vishwa.
Vishwa Pact. He was
You know him. Thank you.
Changa North in Chingola.
Changa North. Let me say this, Vasample. You know, people don't know. You didn't even give us the background. In 5 minutes, tell the nation what you have done when you started running, because some people may just hear a sample.
Oh, yes. Actually, I started the athletics as a sport in 1966. By that time, it was compulsory for schools to be going to Gapta Stadium by then, which is in Changa Stadium, to do sports, everyone. But then we were exposed to do sport, basketball, swimming, everything. And athletics was the major one. So the groupings actually were the youth, the senior, and then just like that. 1966, of course, I was given a group to compete with. I came first. I said, no. There was Mr. Sakala, who was the chief instructor. He put me on the big boys. Then I actually over-sprinted them. That was the beginning of athletics for me, 1966. There was this man before independence in Zimbabwe, Mr. Njiko. Njiko, he was the one who was organizing sport in the mines. Then there, I started athletics, of course, way back. Later on, after school, Chikora Secondary School, Kabundi, we passed through national service, I joined the Defense Force, Air Force.
Zambia Air Force.
Yes, Zambia Air Force. Later on, they sponsored me even to go abroad to upgrade my knowledge.
That's the course you talked about, Hungary?
Yes, Hungary is where I'd gone.
Oh, you went to Hungary?
Yes, Hungary, to the University of Hungary to do coaching sports.
That's Prince coach, eh?
Yes. When I came back, I was rich in knowledge. And then I was exposed to what we call scientific sport and how to approach sport actually, preparations.
In 1984, you have not spoken about 1984 when you qualified to the Olympic Games.
Yes. Actually,
1994?
84. Yes. 84 there.
So you are an Olympian?
Yes. Actually, what it is, when we were invited to go to Atlanta, but then in Atlanta there, what it was is we had no tartan. So the governor, Andrew Young
at the time,
he took our team to go and
train,
assimilate in Atlanta before going to Los Angeles. That's the way it is. Now all those facilities, we have them here.
We have them.
As he says, he talked to me, there's no excuse because all the facilities of international standards, they are here. Copper Belt and Lusaka province. There's no excuse for athletes to make sure, no, after when we went to compete in Olympics, now it was training for us. All the things which are there of international standards, we have them. So what it is, even the government have put the facilities there in place. Us is now to compete and raise the standards and win. Therefore, as he says, there's no need for us to be crying of appointments, if anything. We're supposed to be supported, as you put it, so that we go on ground, we apply the knowledge we have, so that we can put our country compared to other nations who are there, the East Africans and the Southern region.
And what you have said, sorry to cut you short, Vasampe, it's the first time I'm hearing Vamatete. Okay, when we go to training in Mbala, we can be as good as the Kenyans.
Yes.
Because my wife and I were in Ethiopia. We go there from time to time.
Yes.
And Pastor Z took us to the highest mountain.
Yes.
Which start training Kenyans.
Yes.
I mean, Ethiopians. Kenyans go there. No matter what, we are going to mountain in Gamafika Pamulu, you see the wall city.
Yes.
And
here it is in actually Mbala.
Mbala for us is the highest.
It's the highest in
so
the country.
why do the athletes know what?
Very few know.
Very few know, and we need. That's why we need to introduce that to them. Because they cannot know. We have.
And you need sponsorship.
We are talking of accommodation.
To go to Mbala, accommodation, food to take the team there.
Yes.
You need to come there maybe for 3 months before the nanny.
Yes.
I know one of the person, I don't want to mention the organization, he had so much interest in taking the athletes to Mbala to train. Yes. But it was shut down.
You were shut down?
No, yeah, basically the idea was just no.
And that's the Zambia.
That's the Zambian way.
We live in, where brilliant minds, people with dreams and goals are looked at to be something. Yeah.
So in short, we're saying in Mbala, we can go there. Yes. And again, we say, as I said, if we can recall, those where we get Zambians who are tall, it's Western. For those who have got myosin, white muscle, they can jump. Just tell my brother from Western province, and you are tall. Sister. Yes, jump your height. You pick that individual.
We have all those people.
From 17 years old up to 24. That's the group we can take.
And I think I was very humbled by Pastor. You know, what really humbles me when I was coming this morning.
Yes.
You know, I have this young man, Ruben used to be my athlete long time ago, Ruben Sulimba. He lived in America and he came home. And I reached out to him. I said, you know, I have athletes. I am really short of the field. Pastor, he took his car keys. Here is the car keys. Here is the vehicle. Please take the athlete and even put some fuel there. We are here with the car. You know, one of our secretaries, the one who was driving the vehicle. Then another one. He says, where are you staying? At YDC. I'll pay for that. And
I know my wife is hearing.
That's Prince
She will also contribute on your fuel when you go in back.
You know, it's
because you people are a blessing. You are a blessing. Surely, if somebody is looking at you, hearing this program, they can just call Camnet and say, Pastor, I want to give towards Mr. Matete 5,000, 10,000. Anyway, I know that God is blessing this nation. He is blessing this nation. And God will raise men and women that will sponsor us. We are into news time. Mr. Sample, your last words in 1 minute, and then Mr. Matete to the nation.
As we end, I've said thank you for this program, to exposing our ideas, and then to be thankful in such a way that we can see ourselves as Zambians developing, because we have gone back to encourage the youth, so that we pass over the knowledge we have and the expertise to bring up new athletes. From primary schools, you've seen me training the young ones. That's the essence. And now, if you can be sponsored to go in the rural area, we start with Namwala, where we intend to go and pick some athletes. Even in Western Province, as we put our brothers and sisters, those who are tall, those who can jump. Athletics is not all about running. Javelin throwing, Namwala, we will get them from there. Indeed, up to dates when we have to go and train up to that's in Bala, we will be afforded a chance, of course.
And sorry about this. I'm told Zambia has got space to compete at the Olympics and other events that are coming up.
Yes, yes. Only you qualify to the standards which are required. That's all.
My goodness.
Not only that, we are also those who are our friends who are challenged, who are crippled, they are given chances. Yes, even those.
The different able people.
Yes,
Paralympics.
Yes.
And that's another story for another day.
Yes.
That's another story for another day.
Yes.
Your last words, Mr. Matete.
Well, Pastor, I think for me, first of all, I want to thank you. It's a very humbling experience for me for you to invite us here in the studio, and I want to ask God to continue to bless what you're doing.
Amen.
And bless your church and all the people that are coming to this church. You're doing a wonderful job. And then to the people of Zambia, please know that if all of us have a task to contribute to this nation, and there are some of us who have ventured into grassroots development, we need your support, in particular the government, through the Ministry of Sport and Culture. We need your support. The National Olympic Committee of Zambia, we need your support. We need to develop athletes that can compete at world stage. So I want to reach out to you for your support. Thank you very much, Pastor.
Amen. I wish there is more time, but as and when you feel like expressing yourselves, Vasample, Vamatete, this is your station.
Thank you.
This station will never be political. It will never favor anybody. This station is about building Zambia. And I'm so grateful. To the parents who have the children under the Camnet Sports Academy, by God's grace, come early. The opening prayer will be at 10 hours. Don't come late. Tomorrow, 10 hours, we meet. Come with your boys, because we have got to talk family. And for you to enter, you must prove that your son is in the academy or you've met our coaches before. We are so thankful. We will see you. You were born for greatness, and Zambia one day will be a great nation through sport, through agriculture, through every academics. May God bless this great nation. On behalf of my wife, who is the CEO, Pastor Victoria Chiluba, and on behalf of my technical people on duty, the Healing Word Ministries Church, which my wife and I pastor, you've just been a blessing. You've been with us through thin and thick. And may God bless all the Camnet TV viewers. Keep watching Camnet TV, because Camnet TV is not just another channel. Once again, thank you to Mr. Sample and Mr. Matete. Zambia, you are a great nation. Be blessed.